Well, all right, boys and girls. It's another Thorytime Thursday. Did you get your juice boxes and your cookies? Had a long day at school, and now you're nestled in with your narrator. That's me. And what story are we continuing today? Well, that would be Slammed! That's right! The Pro Wrestling Choose Your Own Adventure. It's been 3 weeks later. Let's see what's going on. 3 weeks later, the Araneta Town Hall. Good to meet you. I'm Burnout. Have you seen Sam McEnroe? One by one, the wrestlers shrug or shake their heads as you make your way around the locker room, exchanging handshakes with rookies and veterans both. The lone exception is a beefy Greek wrestler getting some sort of design tattooed on her face. I think I saw him with some of the guys. You nod your thanks, then hurry out of the locker room once you've made the rounds. You're set to debut tonight as the second match on the card, and you just realize that you don't have any entrance music yet. You've just left the locker room when you feel a tap on your shoulder. You turn around to see Lana Lance, your opponent tonight. She's been in the BWF for 3 years. But you've got the feeling she won't be around much longer. You met her earlier in the day when you were going over the match in Vinny's office, and she just seemed disinterested. Listen, says Lance, I know Vinny has you going over tonight, and that's great and all, but I was wondering if we could actually have a match instead of a squash. You're taken aback. Why didn't you say anything earlier? Vinny is down on me lately. Damned if I know why. Lance puts her hands together. Listen, I've got some old high school friends in the audience. I don't want them to see me just roll over. Before you can say anything, Lance continues. I promise. We'll be a minute or two over time. That's all. And if the ref gives the signal to end it, we'll end it. I know how it sounds, and I'll owe you big time. It's just there's this boy that I haven't seen in ages, and you tune her out. You could let Lance get a few moves of her own in, but that may just weaken your debut. It's not like Lance is even booked as a strong opponent. And maybe more importantly, what'll Vinny think? As the promoter and booker of Borderless Wrestling, he's your boss, your only boss, and he may not take too kindly to the improvisation, even if it could result in a more exciting match. On the other hand, wrestlers who show consideration for their peers, who make their opponents look good and generally more popular in the locker room. Those who focus on turning matches into highlight reels are deemed to be all about ring flash and deficient in the awareness that makes a great wrestler. That being said, fans do love to see flashy wrestlers. What do? Do I tell her truthfully? Sure, it's no problem. Tell her sure, but decide to go ahead with the squash anyway? Refuse. You don't think I'm falling for that one, do you? Well, I'm the Burnout. And it's kind of the thing. I'm not going to be sneaky. Straight up. Lance's face clouds over. Already looking out for number one, eh? Fine. Screw you. She leaves in a huff and you shake your head. What did she expected you to say? This is your debut match and you're not going to risk screwing it up. You finally find Sam, surrounded as usual by computers and recording equipment, talking to a pair of technicians about the choreography of the lights for one of the entrances. Sam, Hey, if it isn't the woman of the hour, shouldn't you be in your gear by now? You would be if you hadn't spent the last half hour looking for him. Sam, about my son. Oh, you've been checking the BWF forums? He's not even looking at you. Those little vignettes we've been running have drummed up a lot of interest in you, my friend. He turns to you with a smile. People are wondering how you'd fare against the Twister. Sam nods to himself, exuding self-satisfaction. I heard a few girls talking about how they can't wait to see you get your ass pummeled. You grin. Well, then I guess we're going to have a few disappointed customers after tonight's. You break off and shake your head. Wait, that's not even important right now. I need to choose an entrance song. You need to help me pick an entrance song. Will you please listen to me? Will you please listen to me? Sam cracks his knuckles and tabs through a few windows on his nearest computer monitor. Don't worry, I've been thinking about that. I didn't want to make a final decision without consulting you. He opens an audio file. A blistering guitar solo rises to a crescendo in the first 5 seconds. Then is abruptly cut off. Before the song kicks in with a woman singing about how the world is too small for her ambitions. This one's called Broken Shell by the Witches. If you want something a bit more classic in nature, you hear trumpets and a steady cascading beat without lyrics. It's rough around the edges, but gets across a feeling of triumph. It reminds you of the type of theme music they had during the ejective era, the term fans use to refer to the GWA in the in the 80s, the adjective era, when cartoonish characters were the rule. This one is Steel Patriot, done by a student from my alma mater, big wrestling fan. But if you want something contemporary, Sam clicks the third file. Hey, you say, I know this one, Girl Rising, right? Sam grins. I am such a fan of Ecstasy. Yeah, I saw the standee in your room. Have I ever told you that you're kind of creepy? Shut up. This song will get gets a lot of airplay. Starts slow, but everyone knows it. And it has a great rap chorus once you get to the ring. No one else is using it? Sam shrugs. No one in the BWF or the GWA. And that's good enough for me. So which one do you want to go with? Broken Shell, Steel Patriot, Girl Rising. Let's go with Broken Shell. Sam nods, then turns back to his computers. You're the boss. Let me just slot that in here, and there you are. There you are. You turn to see Vinny Gator stomping toward you, chomping on his trademark unlit cigar. The promoter of the Borderless Wrestling Federation is a small, balding man who positively vibrates with restless energy. Usually it's a positive energy, but the expression on his face tells you not the case at the moment. Hey, Vinny, Sam says without turning around. We're going with Broken Shell for Burnout Scent. What's for clothesline's sake are you still doing here? Uh-oh. Vinny only starts using wrestling terms as cuss substitutes when something's gone wrong. You take a step back as Vinny jabs the stogie in your direction. What do you start... It's like, what do you start to ask when he cuts you off? You're on in 5 minutes! But you look from Vinny to Sam and back to Vinny. You know, I'm second on the card. Is this another joke? Why didn't anyone tell me that before? That's what Vinny told you. He just can't change the card. Or so you thought. If you'd been in the dressing room where we expected you to be, says Vinny, someone would have told you that Otto was a no-show. By the time I'm through with him, he won't be able to get his name on a library card. Your eyes go wide. But that means Vinny stops his reining to fix you with the laser-like glare. Why are you still standing around? You jump, then sprint back to the locker room, only belatedly realizing you didn't tell Vinny about your conversation with Lance. Well, no time for that now. You get to the locker room and quickly change out of your street clothes and into your wrestling gear. A file-cut wrestling singlet similar to what you used to wear in your amateur wrestling days, but with burnout emblazoned on the back. And instead of your school colors, this one features black and red, blue and white, purple and silver. Black and red makes sense. You lace up your boots, then head toward the curtained-off exit. Adrenaline's starting to give you that buzz you always get before a fight. You thump your skull twice with lightly balled fists, then twice more on your chest. A little ritual from your college squad, something to settle the nerves. You hear the ring announcer introduce Lance, who is already on her way to the ring. Vinny is standing by the curtain, peeping at the crowd. He turns back to you, calm and composed now. He grins around a cigar, and you suddenly realize that, after all this time, he still gets excited by his job. "Are you slamming ready, kid?" Before you can answer, you hear the screaming guitar riff begin to play, and Vinny is giving you a thumbs up. Take a deep breath, then stride through. Give a shout, then run through. I smile, then walk through. Stride. Steady nerves, that's what you need. The last thing you want to do is mess up today, of all days. The Araneta is packed, but it's a small town hall, so that means less than 100 people. Still, the Bowsers make up in enthusiasm anything that they lack in numbers, and they're the most boisterous fans on the independent circuit, and they love making themselves heard. When you enter, the boos are immediate. They almost drown out your ring introduction. And making her debut tonight from Dallas, Texas, weighing 150 pounds, Burnout! You suck! Boo! Lance will kill you! Clap, 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 clap. Lance will kill you! You sniff disdainfully and saunter up to the ring, arms raised as if you're generously allowing them to gaze at your body. This is it, you think to yourself. This is what I want. You slide into the ring, still in something of a daze, soaking in the crowd. You head to one of the ring posts and strike a pose. As you do, your eyes lock onto a fan in the very first row. It's a very attractive young man, maybe just a bit older than you. In a wrestling shirt that strains against the muscles in his chest, he gives you a dazzling smile when he catches you looking at him. Well then, we've already gone into this area. He's definitely my type. I smile back and give him a wink. I turn away. He's cute, but I need to focus on my match. I give him a polite smile. I'm into women, not men. I give him a wink. I'm into women, but my character doesn't need to be. Well then, we're not even through the first chapter, boys and girls, and already, We'll just focus on the match. We're not looking for love today. The referee calls your attention and you and Lance take positions across each other in the center of the ring. Lance looks at you intently, her expression almost desperate. But at the moment, you're too awash in your own emotions to give much thought to what she is feeling. You're seconds away from your first official Borderless Wrestling Federation match. All those hours of study under Myra Kirby, all those unpaid gigs in all but empty gymnasiums, all those days of bearing with Big Brenda's complaints, all for this moment. You're not sure if you want to savor the anticipation of it. You just want the bell rings. The match has begun. You lock up with Lance, then quickly bring her into a side headlock, squeezing her head with your right arm. You shift your body weight and flip her over your hip, your arm still pincering her head. It's a classic takedown. She grunts as her back hits the mat. Lance wriggles free of the hold and gets back to her feet. The two of you face off again. Time to kick things up a notch. I wonder what the crowd thinks of the match so far. I wonder what Lance thinks of the match so far. I wonder what Vinny thinks of the match so far. That's who I'm worried about. As much as you'd like to entertain the crowd, Vinny is the one you need to impress if your career is going to go anywhere. Lance attempts a running clothesline, arm outstretched to ram your neck as she passes you, but you duck under her arm and hit the ropes. You repeat the sequence a second time, but this time, instead of just ducking under the blow, you trap her right arm with your left. Then go for the arm trap neck breaker, twisting Lance's head painfully as you Both fall to the mat. The crowd pops modestly as you hit the move. You retreat to your corner and give the audience a thumbs down. The crowd reacts, not just to you, but the fact that Lance has gotten to her feet and is ready to charge you as you're looking away. You turn around just as Lance is about to reach you. Wrap your arms around her waist and then lift her and drop her on her stomach across the turnbuckle. As she gasps for air, you drag her down to the center of the ring, still dazed. Lance recovers and knees you in the gut. You double over, but as she sends a knee at your face, you pivot around. You circle one arm around her waist and hook her leg with your other. With a grunt, you lift Lance over your shoulder, then bring her down onto your knee. You go at it for a while, Lance never getting more than a punch or a kick in before the tide turns back in your favor. Things seem to be going her way. However, when she dodges a corner splash... things seem to be going her way. However, when she dodges a corner splash, you hit the turnbuckle and stagger back dazed. Lance grabs you for a suplex attempt. A move that would see her lift you upside down above her before slamming you to the mat by falling backward. Okay. But she can only barely get you off get your feet off the ground. Instead, when your boots hit the mat again, you grab her leg and roll backwards. So Lance hits the mat back first. Once, then twice. A beautiful rolling fisherman suplex you call the Delgado. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match by pinfall, Burnout! Lance rolls out of the ring gingerly and you climb a turnbuckle, give the audience a thumbs down, and soak in the booze. Your first professional win. You could get used to this. As your hand is raised in victory, you smile, frown, keep my face expressionless. Yeah, we're gonna frown. You're already wondering if there was something you could have done to make things better. There's a lot of activity backstage as you step through the curtain, but almost everyone stops and gives you a round of applause. A few of the other wrestlers even come up and congratulate you with a handshake or a pat on the back. For the first time in a long time, you feel like you belong. It's a good feeling. Then you see Vinny standing near the door of the locker room, talking to one of the women wrestlers. He's holding a rolled-up magazine, which he uses to point to you when he sees you. Kid, get over here. Oh, good, he's going to congratulate me. Oh, no, he's screwed up. Why the hell is he calling me kid? Nice job, kid, says Vinny, rolling the cigar around in his mouth. You're going to do good. You're going to do good business for this company. I know it. Thanks, Vinny. He sticks out his left hand and you take it in firm grip. You peek at the magazine he's holding in his right. Is that this week's Masters? He unrolls the magazine with a smile. That it is. Trollnominus made the MWWR 100 this week. That makes 5 from Borderless Wrestling. Not too shabby for little independent, eh? Masters of Wrestling is the most influential wrestling publication in the world. While it maintains both an online and offline presence, much of their prestige comes from their weekly magazine, which features grades for matches, shoot interviews, and the Masters of Wrestling World Rankings, the MWWR. The editors take on the top wrestlers in the business. It's one of your goals to make it to the MWWR 100, all the way to the top. But right now you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about anything except the young woman featured in an inset on the cover of the magazine. Could I borrow that for a second? Before Vinny can reply, you've taken the magazine, flipping through it to find a specific article, your mind strangely blank. What's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost. Tell Vinny, I have. Lie. It's nothing. Ignore Vinny. This is none of his business. Possible rival. No sense lying. Not when you can feel a tremor in your fingers, the heat rising to your head. You find the article and stare at it. It's her. No doubt about it. J.J. Havoc, the future of the GWA? Oh, her? Vinny says. Came out of nowhere. Wasn't even in the developmental system. Then suddenly her debut match next Wednesday is the leading story on the GWA website. Why? Do you know her? Apparently you missed the news. You'd been too busy preparing for your big debut, or what you'd thought of as your big debut. She just had to spoil your moment, didn't she? Just like she did 2 years ago. JJ Havoc is a ring name, but you know who she really is. Jasmine Bloody Delgado. Ooh. With that, boys and girls, I think it's time that we call it a day and tuck ourselves in. It's almost nap time. And with that, I'm your narrator. This has been Thorytime Thursdays. Like us on YouTube at Agroculture. Like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell to stay notified. And we'll turn the page next time.